Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. It's good to be with you this morning. It's a bright and beautiful day. All kinds of great things are happening in this world, and I just want to be excited about it. I hope you will be too. I want to spend a couple of weeks or so bringing you some good news from the book of John. John's a really interesting book, a little different than the other Gospels, more involved with details than some of the other stories, but then it doesn't include everything, and it's certainly not linear anyway. But nevertheless, the book of John starts out with creation. It's the same creation that Genesis talks about, but talked about in a slightly different way. So that's what I'm going to start with. So here's some good news from the Gospel of John, the first chapter, beginning with the first verse. In the beginning, the Word already existed. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. He existed in the beginning with God. God created everything through him, and nothing was created except through him. The Word gave life to everything that was created, and his life brought light to everyone. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. Okay, this passage talks about the Word. The Word is meant to symbolize the person and the presence and the totality of the man Jesus, who was more than a man, as we know. And it says very sharply that in the beginning the Word was there. So there's no question about God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit. How does this Trinity fit together? I don't know exactly, and it doesn't matter to me. The fact of the matter is, it does, and it's beyond my earthly comprehension. But what's important here is to see that it says that he existed with God and God created everything through him. Everything. And nothing was created without him. Everything was created. Now, what's important to see here is that while we're talking about the mountains and the birds and the trees and all the animals in the sky and all that, that's what people generally think of. Here's another thought. You were created by God, and there's nothing about you that didn't come from God. Now, if that's not a sobering thought, some people never think about it. You are God's handiwork, you are his creation, and you belong to him. So then it goes on to say that the Word gave life to everything that was created. If you don't have life in its fullness, it's not because God doesn't want you to. It's not because God forgot about you. It's not because somehow God was on vacation when you came along or you were a mistake. When you came into this world, you were exactly what God wanted you to be. And he breathed life into you. Now, when we choose to walk with him throughout the rest of our years, we can experience that life each and every day. But a lot of people don't choose to do that. A lot of people do something else. And then they struggle with finding meaning in life and purpose. But this is clear. The Word brought life to everything. Now, here's the part I really want to get to. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot extinguish it. God's light shines in you. There's nothing that happens to you. There's nothing that happens around you. There's nothing that can happen to you that can extinguish that light. Now, I grant you, a lot of darkness can come. And darkness in terms of sickness, depression, discouragement, feelings of anxiety, feelings of inferiority, feelings of failure. All of those things can come to anybody. Nobody's exempt from them. If you're struggling in that area, okay, you're not alone. You're not the first one, and you're not going to be the last one. Darkness comes and it tries to destroy. But this passage from John says, but the darkness cannot extinguish the light. You see, it doesn't take much light to chase away darkness. You've heard this symbol before. Take a candle and light it, and darkness fades away. Take a bunch of candles and darkness fades even more. Electricity puts on lights and everything changes. When the light of Jesus is shining in your heart and then to others, there is no darkness that can overcome it. You have the power to overcome your struggles. Now, don't misunderstand. I'm not suggesting that you do one little thing and immediately everything's better. I'm not also suggesting that you don't need to talk to skilled counselors and professionals who can help you work through things. A lot of that stuff is ugly. A lot of that stuff has been around a long time in people's lives, and a lot of that stuff stinks. But you can get rid of it. Because ultimately, you cannot be destroyed if you allow the light of the Word to live within you. Well, now, how do you do that? Well, there's no magic formula. I wish I could give you a pill that would solve it, or a shot, or a one sentence instruction, and poof, goes away. But I can't do that. It just isn't a magical pill. But you start by opening up your heart and saying, hey, Lord, I want you to live in me. I want you to guide me. And if you need to, what I did many years ago when I was really struggling, I had a really short prayer. Lord, help me. Help me, please. That's about all I could say. But it was enough. If you'll give God an opening into your life, He'll take it. He's that anxious. He's that caring. So I want to leave you today with the thought that once the light comes, all the darkness has to flee. If you haven't found that to be the case in your life, maybe today you can. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a really good day. I'll talk to you again.